Do you know anybody who has an invisible illness? I bet you do, and maybe you just don't realize it. But I found a list of invisible illnesses, and I'm sure that these aren't even all of them are a complete list. But um, invisible illnesses are diseases that affect a person's ability to live their life, but are not immediately visible. They can include a wide range of conditions such as mental health, sorry, mental health conditions, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, obsessive compulsive disorder, and personality disorders, which would include bipolar, borderline personality disorder, um, things like that, the personality disorders. Learning disabilities, which would be ADHD and autism, chronic illnesses, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and Sjögren's syndrome. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Digestive disorders like celiac disease and Crohn's disease. Other conditions such as heart failure, cancer, diabetes, dementia, and brain injuries. Invisible illnesses can be challenging to diagnose because they often have subjective symptoms like fatigue, headaches, and body pain that can be associated with many other conditions. Some conditions may not have visible signs until they are more advanced. People with invisible illnesses may face emotional challenges such as making decisions about when to disclose their condition, dealing with mixed reactions, feeling isolated, and not getting the emotional and social support they need. And that's, well, I'll finish before. Just like when I tell people, and David too, we say we're disabled. Well, you look fine. Well, try living inside this body and you'll think twice. Um, I mean, besides my knee and my back, I mean, if you look at me, I more or less can walk fine, although I have a botched knee replacement for the past 5+ years. Um, I have scoliosis. I have osteoarthritis in my spine. My F3, 4, and 5 are fused in my spine, and that was from birth, and I just found out about that when I was 50. Um, but you can't tell that just by looking at me. David had 3 strokes. He has things um, that he's, different about, that he's slower. Um, he still drives slow. I always say, "Why are you driving so slow, Grandpa?" And I tease him about it. But yeah, he does have deficiencies from the strokes. They were luckily mini strokes, but they're telling him that people normally don't make it past 2. He made it to 3, and that 4th is going to be his last. I don't think that's very supportive for a doctor to say that. It was pretty rude. So the list I have is invisible illnesses from sources across the web, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, brain injuries, cancer, diabetes, lupus, Lyme disease, migraines, allergies, Asperger's syndrome, asthma, endometriosis, and invisible disabilities from allergies to arthritis, types of cancer, depression to diabetes. Um, so, there's a lot that people are just plain rude. When you park, the one that I love the most. Sorry, my nose has been acting up. I haven't been feeling good last couple of days. We have a full-size pickup truck, and yeah, luckily we have running boards, and I practically have to crawl. Well, I have to crawl into it, but I have to jump out of it. You know, I put one foot here and grab on here and kind of jump. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to slink down to get down out. It sucks. I want to get an SUV, but being on disability, that's really hard to come by. Is another vehicle. You know, I'm looking for kind of a beater, something, you know, that's a couple $100. That's hard to come by because a car is too low, and I'd have a hard time getting um, getting out of it, probably getting into it too. But yeah, I know, you know, heater. Our house is 1888, so I can sit here and watch the drapes move. We haven't gotten around to getting all the window plastic on, because when he was putting the window plastic on, it was 81 degrees, and now it's 31 degrees. So anyway, so yeah, I would like to get an SUV so I can drive, but yet the knee that I had replaced was my right one, so it's hard for me. The doctor that I saw down here said it was PT'd to death. They PT'd it too much to where now my leg is just solid. It is strong, and when I drive, I kind of you know, I have a hard time controlling the muscle in my thigh, so it's really hard for me to drive. So I've only driven a few times, maybe 5 or 6 since we've been down here in over a year. So he drives, and then he drives slow, because he's still younger than me though. And anyway, so yeah, I mean, with my back, I've been seeing a chiropractor since I was 19, and all I was ever told was one leg is shorter than the other. That's all I was ever told. And then I started having severe back problems, probably about 4 years ago, where I was in so much pain I couldn't take it. I thought it was my knee causing my back pain, and thought then that it was my back causing my knee pain, and ended up having injections in both my knee and my back, and I was seeing a chiropractor at the same time. So I was seeing an orthopedic surgeon, orthopedic doctor. I was going to PT. I was seeing the chiropractor. If I didn't mention that already, I don't know. I'm kind of all of it. I mean, we went out to eat, and on the way home, I fell asleep, and he stopped at the post office, and he did all this, and I had no idea. I was out. But whatever. And so my chiropractor had all these tests run, and that's when we found out I have scoliosis, which I didn't know about, osteoarthritis, which I didn't know about, and especially the fusions. That was the one that really pissed me off the most, I guess, because I've had them since birth, and I've been seeing a chiropractor since I was 19, and I was in my late 40s. No, I think I was 50. I was around 50 anyway, whatever, when I found out about them. And it's like, do you think somebody could have found this out way before then? But so yeah, I ended up having injections in my spine and in my back, in numerous places in my back. I'd go to PT and I'd get cupping, where if you ever watch the Olympics, they take the cups and they do suction on your back, and they pull them off. They leave a big round red mark on your back. I was having that done, and I finally got an injection, and then my screensaver came on. I always forget about that. But anyway, I ended up having an injection in my S1, which is my really lower back. And it was only supposed to last 9 months to a year, I think they said, or 6 months to a year. And it's been probably over 2 years since I've had it done, and my back feels pretty good. Even though I sit in this chair day in and day out, it still feels alright. But I still can't do certain things. I'm still limited. And when I had to go for my Social Security, my SSI, you have to prove all this stuff that you're disabled. And with me, even though I have these physical limitations, I also have the mental limitations. I don't see them as limitations, though. I don't see myself as disabled, but the government does. So I guess that's good. Or I wouldn't be able to work because I can't sit, stand, crouch. They have the ings, sitting, standing, kneeling, crouching. I watch this guy on YouTube who's a lawyer, disability lawyer, and he always calls them the ings. The lifting, anything that ends in ing, he talks about. Anyway, and then David had his strokes, and he worked, so he gets a different kind of disability. So both him and I are on disability, and people just look at us like, how can you both be on disability? And they think we're lying. And it's just like, you don't live under this roof. You don't see, the things that go on. You weren't there when he had his strokes. You weren't there when they gave me my spinal injections and my back injections. You know what I'm saying? It's very judgmental. And it's rude. I'll take the little, I call it a scooter, at Walmart when we have to walk far, the little electric scooter, because I can't walk that far. It's hard for me to walk, but I have to force myself to, or what am I going to do, crawl? I can't crawl either, because then I'd have to be on my knee. So yeah, it's a pain. So yeah, I mean, we had to prove that we were disabled. He had his strokes. He's bipolar, and here it takes years to get SSI or SSDI. Years. And basically, not even basically, you have to have a lawyer in order to get disability. There's no way around it. I think it's 18, the percentage is super low of getting it on your own. So the nice thing of having a lawyer, though, was they would get your medical stuff for you. They would, go to Social Security Administration for you. They would do all that for you. And it was, you get one of those lawyers that they don't get paid if you don't win. And he had that kind first, and he's like, I'm like, do you want me to come in, court as a witness? Oh no, this is a slam dunk, we got this, no problem. He got denied. So I was like, then what the fuck are we gonna do? Because I couldn't work either. So then I should have been on the bandwagon with my SSI then, and I don't know why I wasn't, because I guess we were working on his. We thought we could live off his. So I ended up going for mine, and like I said, it takes a couple of years, and it's hard to get. And then because of COVID, we didn't have, because of COVID, we didn't have court in a building. We ended up having court in the car, because we lived close to the lake, and we didn't get good phone reception. And trust me, in that kind of situation, there's no second chance. You get your hearing, and you get your hearing. That's it. There's no second. If you fail it or they deny it, you got to start all over. You can appeal it, but even that takes time, and we didn't have time to waste. So, yeah, we're both disabled, and when we tell people that, or when, like I said, when at Walmart, I'm in the little shopping zoom cart, and people look at me, or we get out of the truck, and people look at us like, you look fine to me. And I remember before all of this, we would do that. We would look at people and say, well, they don't look disabled. So I guess, what karma goes around, comes around. Either way. Can never remember which way it goes, but it goes. And anyway, yeah, taking those little carts, people are rude. They don't get out of your way. I just hit them. Oops, sorry. It's the first time I ever drove one. And they go pretty fast, some of them. And then when you release the lever, it stops, dead stop. There's no coasting. It's a dead stop. So when the other day we were cruising, and I was going really fast because I knew I was going, and then I wanted to look at something, so I let off the lever and it slammed on the brakes. And David said this lady that was right behind me almost went right over me. Well, don't be so close, I guess. I didn't see it. I have no idea that it happened. So, boy, this is turning into a bullshit session. What else is new? So, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna go live for an hour. It is, oh gosh, 11:30. So I'm gonna go because I have an appointment with my therapist tomorrow, and he's gonna try to. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. See him at 1 o'clock, and I don't want to, because I've made up my mind, but I don't want him to know that I've made up my mind. And then I have the feeling he's gonna try to talk me out of it. So he has something to do, and then why are you here? And because fuck off. So, happy days. Have a good night.